The boy picked up the nail and quickly swallowed it. Who knew after a dry heave, he actually spat out an egg. Right after came the second one, and then the third one. People crowded around throwing money at him. But a trick like this could only be performed once in one place, so he hurried back home. The first thing he did was tell his mother to shake him hard, but the mother just gave a light shake, and coins started falling non-stop onto the ground. Seeing his mother laugh with joy, he promised her one day he would turn all of this into gold. But as he grew older, he slowly realized that street performing could only barely make a living. He ordered the man to open his mouth, but after searching found nothing. Then the man even looked at him with provocation.
You don't get out, I keep you here overnight for disturbing the peace.
A true magician would never make such sloppy moves, even though the key was indeed in his mouth. It was just that. Houdini looked full of disdain, because his goal was far beyond this little jail. With just a kiss at the cage, he quickly made headlines in all the newspapers. The newly famous Houdini realized every performance from now on had to be more spectacular than the last. The Chicago police challenged him. This time the sheriff came fully prepared. He stripped Houdini of all his clothes, then chained his hands tight, and his feet as well. He even made a special mask for him, and finally called in all the reporters in town to watch him make a fool of himself. But the moment the door shut, something incredible happened. Houdini slowly opened his hands and revealed 6 fingers. When the crowd returned, the cell was already empty. The massive media coverage shot Houdini to instant fame, but he knew this was still not enough. To keep the spotlight, he had to come up with something even more thrilling. So they cuffed his feet, then hung him upside down in the air. 3 men slowly lowered him into the water tank. Houdini started trying to break free. For this newly made prop, Jim himself was not confident. He nervously watched his boss inside the tank, but as expected an accident happened. This time he was challenging the limits of the human body. The audience held their breath below. Time ticked by second after second, even past the human limit, and Houdini still did not appear. The crowd grew restless and uneasy, afraid someone might die. His wife kept signaling frantically at Jim. Jim was panicking too. He hurriedly called for rescuers to come up, but when the screen was removed, the tank was already empty. The stunning performance made Houdini a legend again, and he instantly became the greatest magician in America. He even received an invitation from the German royal family, but the king had seen it all, and ordinary tricks could not impress him. So to impress the king, he had to show a true masterpiece. His wife instantly grew nervous, because even she had never seen this performance before.
Fire! Pull the trigger! Pull the trigger!
But after the gunshot, Houdini was not only unharmed, he actually held the bullet in his mouth. The king had never seen such a performance. He could not help but stand up and cheer for him, but he never would have thought the secret was actually so simple. Just a small magnet could easily pull out the bullet along with the ramrod. But this simple trick once again raised Houdini's value. Soon he was invited to perform for the Tsar and his family, and this time what he wanted to show was his divine power. He took out a slip of paper he carried with him, and told everyone to write down their wish, then asked the princess to pick one out. But when Houdini unfolded the paper, he realized he could not read Russian, so he had to hand it to the queen for translation.
I'm afraid you will never be able to grant a wish, Houdini.
The Kremlin bell had not rung for hundreds of years. Not only had the bell rope rotted away, bell's sound rang out melodiously, echoing through the entire palace. The royal family all knelt down, but in reality, this was just another trick from Houdini. He had arranged a sniper ahead of time, hiding in the opposite building, with a silencer on the gun. The moment the princess pulled the rope, the sniper fired directly at the bell, and from then on, Houdini became a global sensation. He finally fulfilled the promise he made as a child, earning endless gold coins for his mother. But as technology advanced, magic shows gradually declined, because audiences were deeply attracted to something called movies, and there was even an actor named Charlie Chaplin, who made audiences laugh non-stop. This made Houdini very upset as a magician. The set time had already passed, but the water surface still showed no movement. His wife was extremely anxious, as if she wanted to pierce through the thick ice with her eyes, but Houdini had already stopped struggling. Scenes from his life began flashing before his eyes. At the brink of death, he saw his mother guiding his way. In the end, he managed to escape, once again becoming the focus of the world. But such a life was unbearable for his wife. Compared to fame and fortune, she cared more about Houdini's life. But even after facing death, Houdini could not settle down. His tricks grew more dangerous, the injuries more severe, and the attention even greater. later, his wife could no longer bear living in constant fear. Compared to fame and fortune, what she cared about was her husband's life. To keep his wife from leaving, Houdini decided never again to attempt dangerous tricks. At first people thought he would fade into obscurity, but unexpectedly his new style of magic made even more people go crazy for him. But just like that, the great magician Houdini crawled through with no regard for his image. Under the worried gaze of his wife, he stood up and twisted his waist to show he was fine, then straightened his clothes, and before he could respond to his wife's love, he quickly struck a stylish pose, returning once again to the audience's sight. The crowd erupted in even louder applause, but Conan seemed to realize something. When the show ended, he went straight backstage, saying he had seen through the wall trick. Using the perspective of Sherlock Holmes, Houdini felt a pang of guilt. But what Conan said next shocked him even more.
Spiritual powers.
Houdini never imagined that a writer known for strict logic would actually believe in spirits and the supernatural. But at that moment, his assistant brought shocking news. Houdini's mother had suddenly passed away. His mind went completely blank, and he fainted on the spot. The audience listened with chills down their spines. But in fact, all of this was information Houdini had secretly gotten from the police and dramatized with his own deductions. The performance was wildly successful. The audience believed every word, but it hurt the family of the deceased. Reopening their grief, seeing their pain, Houdini felt deep guilt. From then on, he never performed such tricks again, but his longing for his mother only grew stronger. He began seeking out people who claimed to be mediums, but those frauds only used cheap tricks. Again and again he went with hope, and again he left in disappointment. The bullet he had once caught now seemed to hit his own forehead. He finally understood how the victims' families once felt. She used a pen as the tool to talk with ghosts. As a strange wind blew, it seemed his mother really entered the woman's body. She began recounting Houdini's life, and some secrets no one else knew. Houdini wanted her to connect to his mother, but the woman refused. With a scream of pain, she returned to normal, but Houdini still saw through it. The bells and whistles during the seance were all made by them, and the most unbelievable man's voice came from the woman's skill at ventriloquism. Though these tricks were advanced to a world-class magician, they were still child's play. Later he exposed the woman's scam on the radio, and once again warned those mediums who preyed on people's emotions for money that he would fight them for the rest of his life. But not long after, an accident happened. A stranger pretending to be a fan came backstage and attacked Houdini when he was unprepared. Then he could stay by his wife's side forever. So in the days after, his wife held seances as he had asked, but no one could ever say the secret code. Yet who would have thought the one who most hoped seances were real was Houdini himself? He wanted to use it to heal the regret in his heart. Houdini spent his life chasing escapes, finding ways to break every chain, but in the end, he locked his own heart with a knot that could never be undone.